Charging an EV costs between $23 and $54 a month. Gas costs between $165 and $230. But the full picture is more complicated. Here's the real comparison. Purchase price first. The cheapest new EV in Canada is the Kia EV4 at $38,995. A Honda Civic starts around $28,000. A Toyota Corolla around $24,000. The upfront gap is $10,000 to $15,000 in favor of gas. That's real money. But purchase price is where most comparisons stop and where most get the answer wrong. Fuel costs. At current gas prices of roughly $1.97 per litre, a gas car driven 20,000 kilometres per year costs between $2,000 and $3,000 in fuel. An equivalent EV costs between $300 and $650 in electricity. Home charging during off-peak hours puts you at the lower end. Public fast chargers, which cost 2 to 3 times more, push you higher. Savings range from $1,400 to $2,300 per year on fuel alone. Maintenance. This is where EVs have a massive structural advantage. No engine oil, no transmission fluid, no timing belt, no spark plugs, no exhaust system. Brake pads last 2 to 3 times longer because regenerative braking handles most deceleration. Annual gas car maintenance runs $1,200 to $1,800. Oil changes, tire rotations, brake jobs, fluid flushes, periodic major services. An EV runs $300 to $600 per year, mostly tires and cabin air filters. Savings of $700 to $1,200 annually. Insurance. EVs lose ground here. Premiums are roughly 15 to 20% higher than comparable gas vehicles. Batteries are expensive to replace. Collision repair costs more because body panels often integrate battery protection. Fewer mechanics are trained on EVs, limiting repair options. Expect $200 to $400 more per year in insurance. Depreciation. EVs have historically depreciated faster. Used EV prices in Canada dropped over $1,700 in a single month recently. A 3-year-old EV can lose 40 to 50% of its value. Gas vehicles typically 30 to 40. That 10% difference on a $40,000 vehicle is $4,000 in extra lost value. However, BYD's arrival in Canada could stabilize EV depreciation. When the cheapest new EV drops from $39,000 to $25,000, a floor gets established sooner. Now let's add it all up over 5 years. $30,000 gas car. Fuel $12,500. Maintenance $7,500. Insurance $10,000. Depreciation $12,000. Total roughly $72,000. $40,000 EV. Charging $2,500. Maintenance $2,000. Insurance $11,500. Depreciation $18,000. Total roughly $74,000. Almost identical. Within $2,000. But here's what tips the scale, and it's not what most people expect. If gas stays above $1.90, the EV pulls ahead. If gas hits $2.20, which some analysts predict by winter, the EV wins by a clear margin. If BYD brings a $30,000 EV to Canada, the upfront gap disappears and the EV wins significantly. If you have home charging, your electricity cost drops to the lowest end, adding another $1,000 to $1,500 in savings. If you drive more than 20,000 kilometers, the fuel savings compound faster. The break-even point in 2026 is around year 3. After that, the EV is cheaper every month. The federal government suspended the excise tax on gasoline from April through September, saves roughly 10 cents per litre temporarily, but once reinstated, gas costs jump right back. EV charging costs don't fluctuate the same way. Electricity rates are regulated, predictable, and far less volatile than global oil markets. For families with 2 vehicles, the hybrid approach works well. One gas car for long road trips and rural driving where charging infrastructure is sparse. One EV for daily commuting and city driving where fuel savings are most dramatic. If you currently own a paid-off gas car that runs fine, keep driving it. The cheapest car is always the one you already own. Don't take on a new payment just to save on fuel unless the full 5-year calculation genuinely makes sense. If your gas car is reaching end of life and you're buying anyway, that's when the EV comparison matters most. And a 2 or 3-year-old used EV that's already lost 40% of its value but retains 90% of battery health is one of the best value purchases in the Canadian auto market right now. The verdict: buying new and keeping 5 years or more, the EV wins for most drivers. Buying used, the gap is even wider because depreciation has already been absorbed. Driving less than 10,000 kilometers, the savings are smaller and gas may still win on pure cost. Living in a condo without home charging, the higher cost of public stations narrows the EV advantage significantly. It's not about saving the planet, it's about saving money. EV or gas, what are you driving and what does it cost you each month? Drop the real numbers in the comments.